All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Ba'ashem, Malak Yahweh Shai. Alright, so we coming back with another Shabbat lesson, breaking down Revelation, the 16th chapter, and the Vials.
Shalom, shalom.
So we're going to start off Revelation chapter 15 and verse 5, and we're going to break this thing down through the Spirit of God, Yahweh Shai.
Right. The Revelation 15 and 5.
The book of Revelation, chapter 15, verse 5.
Right.
And after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle, the testimony in heaven, was open.
Right. So it said the temple of the tabernacle in heaven. Right. Because you got a tabernacle that's here on earth, and you have a tabernacle that's in the third heaven. Right. So get the book of Acts, chapter 7 and verse 44.
The book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 44.
Right.
It reads, Our fathers had the tabernacle of witness in the wilderness.
Right.
As he had appointed, speaking unto Moses, that he should make it according to the fashion that he had seen.
Right, and he made it according to the fashion he had seen. Where did Moses go? He went into the cloudy pillar. Right, let me get that real fast in the book of Sirach. Right, so he went to the third heaven where he actually seen the tabernacle. Right, it's Sirach chapter 45. In book verse 5, 45 and 5.
The book of Sirach, chapter 45 and verse 5.
Right.
He made him to hear his voice.
Right.
And brought him into the dark cloud.
He brought him into the dark cloud. Talk about the chariot. Right. And within that chariot, he went to the third heaven. Right. Drop that, get Revelation 4 and start at 2. Right, so it said he made the tabernacle based off what he had seen when he went into the mount. Right? So bring that out. Revelation 4, verse, matter of fact, start at 1. So
Revelation 4:1.
Right?
After this I looked, and behold, a door was open in heaven.
Right, a door was open in heaven. Right, like Jacob's ladder, a portal. Right? Like a portal. It's like, right, read?
And the first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me.
Read?
Which said, Come up hither.
Right, come up hither. Right? To the chariot. Read?
And I will shew thee things which must be hereafter.
Right, read?
And immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was set up in heaven, and one sat on the throne.
Right, and he went up to the third heaven where Yahweh and the angels dwell. Right, and he seen the pattern of the tabernacle. Right, Moses. Right, and he wrote and he basically fashioned the tabernacle on earth the same way he seen it.
It was Acts chapter 7 and verse 50. Right, because not only do Yahweh Shai and Yahweh dwell there, but also the angels. And that's how Moses received the law, through the dispensation of the angels. Okay? Give me Acts chapter 7 and verse 50.
The book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 50. Have not my hands made all these things? Ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears, ye do always resist the Holy Spirit.
That's the Israelites. They resist the Holy Spirit and the Spirit of wisdom. Read on.
As your fathers did, so do ye.
Right?
Which other prophets have not your fathers persecuted, and they have slain them which shewed before of the coming of the just one, and of whom ye have been now the betrayers and murderers, who have received the law by the dispensation of angels.
Just say, we received the law that's like by the dispensation of the angels. Read on.
And have not kept it.
You see that? So the point is, when Moses, seen the heavens, the third heavens rather, he seen the angels in the heavens. Okay? So you have angels that dwell within in the third heavens. Right? And read Revelation chapter 15, verse 5 again, King.
The book of Revelation, chapter 15, and verse 5. And after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle.
It say the temple of the tabernacle, read on.
Of the testimony in heaven.
Now the testimony represents the tables of stones, right? In the law. Give me Exodus chapter 25, verse 16.
The book of Exodus, chapter 25, verse 16.
Right?
And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee.
Right, thou shalt put in the ark the testimony that the Lord shall give thee, which represents the tables of stones. Keep reading on to that.
And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee, and thou shalt make a mercy seat of pure gold, 2 cubits, and of half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth thereof. And thou shalt make 2 cherubims of gold of beaten work, shalt thou make them in the 2 ends of the mercy seat.
All right, that's it on that. Now go back to Revelation chapter 15, go to verse 6. So again, these are things that shoot forth in the heavens.
Got one more real fast. Hebrews. What's that? Hebrews 10, verse 1.
The book of Hebrews chapter 10, verse 1.
Matter of fact, Salaki, Hebrews 8 and verse 1.
Hebrews chapter 8, verse 1.
Right?
Now of these, now of the things which we have spoken, this is the sum. We have such an high priest,
Right?
who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in the heavens.
Right, that's somebody Yahweh shot after the order of Melchizedek. Read.
A minister of the sanctuary,
Right?
and of the true tabernacle,
Of the true tabernacle, read.
which the Lord pitched and not man.
Right, so that is a true tabernacle, which is in the third heaven. But then you got the earthly tabernacle, which is just a shadow of that tabernacle. Right, so the same things that happen, the priestly duties that happen within the tabernacle in the third heaven, it's the same way that it happened on this level. Right, and keep reading, let's go prove that.
For every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices.
Right?
Therefore it is of necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer.
Right, so Yahweh Shah still had an offer as well. But he didn't offer, bullocks or lambs. He offered himself on the spiritual altar. Right, so the same ordinances that the priests have to do on earth, it was a shadow of the things that's in the third heaven. Right, so that's very important to understand this breakdown. So you can go back to Revelation.
Got a precept real quick. Get Matthew chapter 6, start at verse 6. Right, so the brother is bringing it out. Right, same things that are in the heavens are here on earth. Okay, bring it out. So again, these angels, you got angels that serve as priesthood in the third heavens. Right, yeah, it's like you got angels that offer up the prayers of the saints, Raphael. We read Tobit chapter 12, verse 15. Right, now bring it out, King.
The book of Matthew chapter 6 and verse 6. When thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. But when ye pray, use not vain repetitions, as the heathen do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. Be not ye therefore like unto them, for your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before ye ask him. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
See that? So the will of the Lord is done in earth as it is in heaven. Right? So the things that are in the heavens are going to be manifested on the earth. Right? Everything starts within the spirit in the heavens and then it physically plays out on the earth.
So go to Revelation 15 and 5.
The book of Revelation, chapter 15, verse 5.
Right?
And after that I looked, and behold, the tabernacle of the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in heaven was open.
Right, so this is talking about the true tabernacle, right? The tabernacle of testimony or the tabernacle of witness in heaven, right, was open. Right, read?
And the 7 angels came out of the temple.
Right, so these are the 7 priests, right? 7 priests, 7 angels, read?
Having the 7 plagues.
Having the 7 plagues. These are the vials, right, read?
Clothed in pure and white linen.
Right?
And having their breasts girded with golden girdles.
Right, now they wearing that pure and white linen because that's what all the angels always wore. Right, bring it up.
Give me the book of Acts chapter 1 verse 9 on that. Just to prove that. Alright, so the angels, they wear pure white linen. Right? So these angels, they death angels. They gonna pour out the vials and pour out the destruction upon man. Alright? Because you have angels that have different offices. You got angels that's priests, death angels, right? So on and so forth. Cruel messengers spoken about in Proverbs 17 and 11. and many more other precepts. But bring out that precept, King.
The book of Acts, chapter 1, verse 9.
Right?
And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
So Yahweh Shah was beamed up in the chariot, right, to go sit on the right hand of the Father in the third heavens. Read on.
And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by him in white apparel.
And what?
In white apparel.
And these two men that stood by the disciples in white apparel is talking about the angels. So the angels wear white apparel. Read on.
Which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahweh Shah, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner.
Right, so the same way you saying Yahweh shall go up, he's coming back in that same fashion with the chariots of the Lord. That's spoken about in Isaiah 66 chapter and the 15th verse on down. And get 2 Maccabees chapter 3 verse 24.
Just a little more than two. As ye have seen him going to heaven. So he said 2 Maccabees
3:24.
All praise.
Right. Because the death angel visited Heliodorus. We're going to break it out. 2 Maccabees 3:24.
The book of 2 Maccabees chapter 3 verse 24. Now as he was there present himself with his guard about the treasury, the Lord of spirits and the prince of all power.
It say the Lord of spirits and the prince of all power. That's Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Read on.
Caused a great apparition,
Which is a demon, a spirit, a death angel. Read on.
so that all that presumed to come in with him were astonished at the power of God and fainted, and were so afraid. And there appeared unto them an horse with a terrible rider upon him, and adorned with a very fair covering.
Right, so this death angel had on a very fair covering. Right? Read on.
And he ran fiercely, and smote at Heliodorus with his forefeet, and it seemed that he that sat upon the horse had complete harness of gold.
Right, so this death angel had on gold. Read on.
Moreover, two other young men appeared before him, and notable in strength, excellent in beauty, and comely in apparel, who stood by him on either side, and scourged him continually, and gave him many sort of
Right, so these
stripes.
angels beat down Heliodorus, man, giving them stripes, beating them half dead. Now we know this is talking about angels because it said they're notable in strength. Give me Psalms chapter 103, verse 21. All right. Right, so we know this is talking about angels because the angels are notable in strength. All right, death angels are notable in strength. Right, also angels on the right hand side. We'll bring this up.
The book of Psalms chapter 103 and verse 20. Bless the Lord, ye his angels, that excel in strength.
That do what?
That will excel in strength.
That excel in strength. So the angels are strong and of great might and valiantness. Read on.
That do his commandments, hearkening to the voice of his word.
Playing upon tables. So the angels do the commandments and they hearken to the voice of the word of the Lord. Right? Also give me Sirach 39 and 28. Right? Because the Lord created these different spirits for the sake of vengeance. To bring death upon man. Right? What they say, the Grim Reaper. That's the spirit that the Lord created, man. Right? Trying to pull up the Grim Reaper real quick, King. Show Israel that vision. Right, because these death angels, man, we really can't explain how they look, man. Right, they might got a monstrous face. It's a strange apparition. And the Lord showed the Egyptians strange apparitions. When you read Wisdom of Solomon in the 17th chapter. Somebody trying to focus that in. Showing the Grim Reaper. Okay? It's a death angel. They say, look, you don't want to see the Grim Reaper at night. They say, if you see the Grim Reaper, hey man, your life about to get cut down. That's
You got also saying in the scriptures, I think in Mark, that the reapers are the angels.
right.
Yeah, Revelation.
That's right. Matter of fact, you might as well bring it out, brother. That's in
Mark.
yeah, the Reapers. I like that, brother. The Reapers. Well, let me bring this out. Where you find that? Let's get Sirach chapter 39, verse 28. So that's why the scriptures say, through the terror of the Lord we persuade men. So we fear Yahweh Shemyahushai and the things that he created. So that's why we have to keep these commandments and walk righteous, because we don't want to see these death angels. Right? You got it.
This or Sirach?
The one you got, and then say right.
The book of Matthew chapter 13 and verse 39. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world.
And we living in the harvest. We living in the end of the world. Right? Read on.
And the reapers are the angels.
And the what?
And the reapers are the angels.
And the reapers are the angels. See that? So you got death angels that's going to cut down man off the earth. That's also spoken about in Ezekiel chapter 9 verse 4. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children. Those were death angels. You got it?
Yeah, when Dex Osama died or whatever, he said he saw the Grim Reaper in his time, and his mama said he got death on him.
Yep.
As we made that song, mama said I got death on him.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a fact, man. That's a fact right there. See that? So when you living a wicked lifestyle and you got that murder demon upon you, and you reap what you sow on the earth. So if you running around killing your brothers, guess what? The Grim Reaper is going to visit you. I had 2 more precepts. Give me Proverbs chapter 17, verse 11.
Book of Proverbs chapter 17 and verse 11.
Right.
It reads, an evil man seeketh only rebellion.
There's a lot of evil men out here in the world. Right? And evilness, that's broad. You got people who commit adultery, people who murder their brother, people who are sodomites, people who got wicked, cunning and vindictive spirits on them, liars, thieves. That all goes and falls in the line of wickedness. So there's many different wicked men out here. Read on.
Therefore a cruel messenger shall be sent against him.
A cruel messenger shall be sent against him. What's that cruel messenger? Death angel. Right? Because an angel pretty much, the word angel just means a messenger of the Lord. Right? So the Lord got evil messengers that he can send among you. Now give me Psalm 78 and 49.
You see that, people that be killing a lot of people, they be like, I don't know what happened, something just took control of me.
Yeah, something took hold of me. I blacked out. You know, everything went blank, and I woke up in a hospital with a cuff on me. And I don't know what happened. Right. You know, hey, them spirits took hold on you, man. I seen an old interview, a brother, he smoked some PCP and killed like 3 people. He said, I don't know what happened. I smoked that and I just blacked out. And he killed 3 people, man.
Somebody smoked K2 and ate somebody's face, man.
I heard of that. So that's them demons taking control of you, them death angels vexing your temple, making you doing wicked things on the earth. There was a brother who smoked PCP and he tried to take a baby out the stroller. So he had spirits on him, man.
Make you see stuff.
It make you see stuff and make you hallucinate. All right? But it's all demons, man. You basically seeing the spiritual realm, man. You seeing all these different demons, right? When you smoke them drugs. You got it?
There was a brother I went to school with. He told me his dad had smoked some PCP. I think he ran down the street naked. He was telling me that he was seeing demons.
Yeah, hey, that's real right there, man. Because your mind started playing tricks on you. And them damn demons started manifesting when you damn invoke them, smoking them damn herbs, man. You got it. There's more than that.
Book of Psalms chapter 78 and verse 49.
That's correct.
He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger.
The fierceness of his anger. So the Lord is angry, man. Imagine how angry and furious the Lord is with, the Lord has against the wicked, man. Imagine how much anger and fury that he has against the so-called white man. 2/3 of our people. Right? Read on.
Wrath and indignation and trouble by sending evil angels among them.
By sending evil angels among them. So it's not just good angels. They are nice. They all, they all greet you at night and, No, it's death angels out here too, man. You understand? So brothers got to understand that. So the Lord has these death angels, pouring out the vials upon man on the earth to destroy the wicked. Okay? You got it.
All right, go back to I'm gonna bring out these precepts real quick.
Revelation chapter 15 verse 6. plagues.
right?
And that 7 angels came out of the temple.
Right, again, these will be the priests. These will be the priests in the temple, right, in the third heaven. Right, read.
Having the 7 plagues.
Right, they're death angels, right, read.
Clothed in pure and white linen.
Now they were clothed in glorious apparel, read.
And having their breasts girded with golden girdles.
They had golden girdles on. Right, so going back into the white apparel real fast, get Matthew 28 and verse 2. Matthew 28 and verse 2. Another precept, just to land me back, to show that the angels, they clothed in white apparel. Then I want to touch on the gold and the priestly garments they had on, and how the priests on the earthly tabernacle had on royal apparel as well. Because again, this is all a shadow of what's in the third heaven. Right, bring that up.
Let's look at Matthew chapter 28 and verse 2.
Right?
And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descended from heaven, and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it.
Right?
And his countenance was like lightning.
Right?
His raiment white as snow.
His what?
And his raiment white as snow.
Right, so he had white garment on. Right, now let's see what the priest wore. Get the book of Sirach, chapter 46 and verse 6. Right, going into what the priests wore, man. Right, they wore royal apparel just like these angels that's priests, representing the priests in the third heaven. Right, bring it up.
You said what?
Sirach 46 and verse 6.
The book of Sirach chapter 46 and verse 6.
Right?
And with hailstones.
Salakia 45 and 6. Salakia.
Sirach chapter 45 verse 6.
Right?
He exalted Aaron, and holy man like unto him, even his brother of the tribe of Levi.
Right?
An everlasting covenant he made with them, and gave him the priesthood among the people.
Right, so Aaron, the sons, not just all Levites were priests, but the sons of Aaron specifically were the priests, right? He gave them that everlasting priesthood, right? Or that everlasting covenant for the priesthood, read.
He beautified them with comely ornaments.
Right?
And clothed them with a robe of glory.
He did what?
He clothed them with a robe of glory.
Right, the priests, they had their own garments. Right, keep reading.
He put upon him perfect glory.
Right?
And strengthened him with rich garments, with breeches, with a long robe and an ephod.
Read on.
He compassed him with pomegranates.
Right, with pomegranates, right? Like he had, they call it so-called Star of David. Right, that's how it would look, the open pomegranate around his garment. Right, read.
And with many golden veils round about.
Right, so he had gold, like a golden girdle. Right, so this is the things that the priest wore, man. The same thing or just a representation of the priest in the third heaven. Nothing is by mistake. He literally ordered everything dealing with the tabernacle the same way that it is in the third heaven. Right, finish that verse out.
And that as he went there might be a sound and a noise made that might be heard in the temple for memorial to the children of his people.
Right, and that's it on that. So the angels in the third heaven, the priests that they have, the priests on earth was, for lack of a better term, shadowing or mimicking what they had going on. And that's why the priests wore these royal decked out apparel. Right, so you got it.
Right, you can bring out 2 Maccabees 11 and 6.
The book of 2 Maccabees chapter 11 and verse 6.
So we establishing that it's order in the spiritual world, right? The Lord is not allowing these angels to have a hall pass and do whatever they want. Right. And they all on a water machine bottom. You know, what's that water keg? You're cracking jokes all day. They're not moving like that, man. This isn't the office where you can do whatever you want.
Navy classified.
Yeah. I say, I dare you to do this on Earth. Just jump through that portal. Rock, paper, scissors. They're not moving like that.
Hey, Salaki, they moving in order, man.
That's right.
Right? Yeah, and the angels go through portals, man. Right? That's in Job, the first chapter. They go to and from the earth. You know?
That's right. You can bring it up.
Jacob's ladder.
You said 2 Maccabees 11 and
6.
6. I'm sorry. 2 Maccabees chapter 11 verse 6. Now when they that were with Maccabees heard that he besieged the host, they and all the people with lamentation and tears besought the Lord.
Right, they're praying to the Heavenly Father, Lord, deliver us. Go ahead.
that he will send a good angel to deliver Israel.
Go ahead.
And so then Maccabees himself first of all took weapons, exhorting the others that they would jeopardy themselves together with him to help their brethren.
Right. Putting your lives on the line for your people. Go ahead.
So they went forth together with a willing mind.
And what else is saying?
And as they were at Jerusalem, there appeared before them in horseback one in white clothing.
That wasn't a mysterious figure that just came from a land from afar and said, look, I heard you guys need help. This is an angel. Go ahead.
Right.
Shaking his armor of gold.
He kind of shaking his armor of gold and he flexing. All right, in righteousness. Go
It's
ahead.
like Jake. It's like Jake.
He like,
Verse 9.
Pull that precept.
I'm here. Go ahead.
And they praised the merciful God altogether.
And he what?
Go.
And they praised the merciful God altogether.
Man, praise the merciful God all together. Who wouldn't? After the Lord just gave you an angel to defend you, who wouldn't praise him? Go ahead.
And took heart, insomuch that they were ready not only to fight with men, but with most cruel beasts, and to pierce through walls of iron.
Because when you read the account in the so-called Old Testament Kings, if I'm not mistaken, hey, the Lord sent that angel out and slain all those Assyrians, man.
Bring it out.
Yeah.
Let me bring it out. 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 35. One of my favorite verses. 2 Kings chapter 19 and verse 35. And it reads thus. And it came to pass that night that the angel of the Lord went out, one angel of the Lord, and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000. That's 185,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. So one angel of the Lord took out 185,000 men of the Assyrian army. And that's just one angel of the Lord, man. So that's Psalms 103:21. They are notable and excellent in strength.
So I want to ask him, he probably wasn't like a man that had to go to each person and kind of cut his neck off.
Right.
You know, they ain't even hear it, you know.
Hey man, it happened at probably, I'm led to believe it happened at the snap of a finger, man.
Yeah.
He just destroyed them all.
Yeah.
Right? By way of some kind of fire from the heavens. Right? It could have been another element that we don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it probably wasn't necessarily fire. It could have been some unknown element that the Lord created.
2 Kings 19 to 34.
Or he just took their spirit away from
Okay.
all praise to the Most High.
Could have just, grabbed the spirit away from us, but they all dropped dead like dead corpses.
Okay. All right, in Revelation 15, verse 7 now. Right, so here it is, you're in the third heaven, you got these priests, right, angels that's acting as priests in the third heaven, clothed with glorious apparel, strength, death angels, might, right, read?
Revelation 15 and verse 7.
Right,
And one of the four beasts gave unto the seven angels 7 gold vials full of the wrath of God, who liveth forever and ever.
right, so these beasts, they gave the angels 7 golden vials.
Full of the wrath of God.
Right, now these vials, they full of the judgment of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, man. Like the judgment that he has on the earth, right?
Bring it up. So you got a precept.
Give me Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. Right, so these vials, these plagues are full of the judgment and the wrath of Yahweh Shah Shah. And that's a great wrath. Matter of fact, give me Nahum 1 and 2. You didn't get that. That's a great wrath right there because the Lord is furious. The Lord is, I get over it. Look, the Lord ain't going to get over it, man. He's furious. He's upset with what they've done to God's chosen people. The enslavement, the wickedness on the earth, the homosexuality, the bestiality, everything that's evil, wicked, and filthy, the Lord is upset with it. Bring it out.
The book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 2. Yahweh is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. The Lord revengeth and is furious.
And is what?
And is furious.
And is furious. Right, look up that word furious. That's not just, you upset, you're mad. No, it say he's furious. Right? Fury is a different thing. When you furious, blood is going to happen shortly after.
Right.
Right? You don't just get furious and get over it. No, when you're furious, you have your eye on the mission. You're going to slay and destroy it, man. Bring it out, King.
Definition of furious: extremely angry, full of anger or energy, violent or intense.
Violent and tents. And the scriptures say Babylon is going to be thrown down by way of violence. Bring that out in Revelation 18:21.
That's the way the Romans.
Come.
And it is furious. The Lord will take vengeance of his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his
He
enemies.
reserved wrath for his enemies, playing upon tables. Again, Revelation 18:21. So again, when you furious, blood is going to happen shortly after. All you see is red. All right? And that's what the Lord see right now. Right? And that's why he's going to destroy all the wicked, man. You got it?
Book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon.
Thus, with violence, shall that great city Babylon be what?
Be thrown down.
Be thrown down. So America is going to be thrown down by way of violence, right?
And shall be found no more at all.
And shall be found no more at all. So these vials is going into the violence and the plagues that the Lord is going to bring upon America and upon the wicked men of the earth. So,
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, do Revelation 4 real quick, going into one of the beasts. Start at 4, and well, we read 4 on 1 and 2, so jump to verse 3. Right, so this is John going to the third heaven. He's seeing the Most High sitting on his throne. Right, keep reading 4 and 3.
The book of Revelation, chapter 4, and verse 3.
Right,
And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper in a sardine stone.
right. So basically, he was a reddish, brownish kind of color. He was a brown skinned man, right? A brown skinned deity. Right, read on.
And there was a rainbow round about the throne, and sight like unto an emerald. And round about the throne were 24 seats, and upon the seats I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold.
Right, these elders that's talking about the council going on in the third heaven, right, read.
And out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices. And there were 7 lamps, fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God.
Right, read on.
And before the throne was a sea of glass like unto crystal. And in the midst of the throne and round about the throne were 4 beasts full of eyes before and behind.
Right, so that was one of those 4 beasts handed those 7 angels 7 golden vials full of the wrath of the Lord. Right, I can keep reading that in Revelation 15
And 8.
and 8. Right, bring it up.
Revelation 15 and 8.
Right,
And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of Yahweh and from his power. And no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled.
right, and the Lord did this multiple times to where his glory would fill the temple so much that no man was able to enter in.
too glorious.
Right, too glorious, right?
Precept.
Yeah, bring it up, that precept.
I believe it's Titus chapter
I got
2.
another one.
Going into the light that no man can approach there too. 1 Timothy 6:16.
I got 2 precepts.
Bring it up. 1 Timothy 6:16. Right, because the glory of the Lord, you can't approach him to it. Right? You can't look at the Lord, man. Right? You're gonna be destroyed. Right? No man can lay bodily eyes upon Yahweh Shemawashah.
You might disintegrate.
1 Timothy 6:16.
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 16.
Right,
Who only have immortality, dwelling in the light which no man can approach into.
See that? So no man can approach him to the light of the Lord. You can't walk up on Yahweh Shemawashah. Right? Now give me John chapter 1 and verse 18. Let alone see him.
It's a little more than that too.
You got it.
Whom no man hath seen or can see, to whom be honor and power everlasting. Amen.
Give me John 1:18.
The book of John,
And these are all precepts proving that no man can approach him to the light of the Lord. Right? Because the glory of the Most High Yahweh. Bring it out.
the book of John chapter 1 and verse 18.
Right?
And it reads, no man hath seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him.
You see that? Now give me John chapter 5 verse 37.
The book of John chapter
Now
5.
the Most High can allow you to see him through a trance or a vision. But physically, no man can approach him to the Lord.
So because we read John, he seen the figure of him on the throne, but he was in the spirit. When you read Revelation 4 and 2, he was in a spiritual form.
Bring it out.
The book of John, chapter 5, and verse
37.
and verse 37, and it reads, "And the Father himself, which hath sent me, hath borne witness of me. Ye have neither heard his voice at any time, nor seen his shape."
See that? You didn't see or hear it, or you didn't see the shape of the Lord or hear his voice, right? On a physical level. Read on.
"And ye have not his word abided in you. For whom he has sent, him ye believe not."
You can rest on that. You got it, brother.
Right, so get the book of, it's gonna hand me back. Right, Exodus 40 and verse 34.
The book of Exodus, chapter 40,
Verse 34.
Exodus 40 and verse 34. And it reads, "Then a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle.
Right, read.
And Moses was not able to enter into the temple,
Right.
into the tent of the congregation, because the cloud abode thereon, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle."
You see that? So he couldn't even enter into the tabernacle because the glory of the Lord, man. Right, now let's get the book of Leviticus, chapter 16, and verse, let's start at 11. Right, it's going into the sacrifice of the Day of Atonement, right? Again, everything in the third heaven is manifest on the earth. So we're going to see about this smoke covering the tabernacle, right? In all representation of the Most High's glory, right? On a physical level. Bring this up.
You said Leviticus 16.
16, verse 11. Right, it's going to the Day of Atonement. This is when the high priest, right, he would go into the within the veil where the Ark of the Covenant is once a year. It's the only time anybody was ever allowed in there, or they'd be put to death, right? So bring it up.
Leviticus chapter 16, verse 11.
Right,
"And Aaron shall bring the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself,
right,
and shall make an atonement for himself, for his house,
right.
and shall kill the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself."
Right, so he'll have to make a sin to cleanse himself, and then he'll cleanse the nation. You gotta sprinkle the blood 7 times on the actual Ark of the Covenant, which ultimately represents the Most High being with Israel. Right, read on.
"And he shall take a censer full of burning coals
Right,
of fire from off the altar before the Lord,
read.
and his hands full of sweet incense, beaten small, and bring it within the veil."
So now he's going within the veil. What's within the veil? The Ark of the Covenant. Right, the mercy seat, which represents Yahweh Shah. Right, read on.
"And he shall put the incense upon the fire before the Lord, that the cloud of the incense may cover the mercy seat that is upon the testimony, that he died not."
Right, because that mercy seat, it represents the Lord. So you have to have smoke covering that thing, man. You have to have smoke covering that thing the same way as these angels covering this veil.
Right.
All right, so let's go back to, let's deal with it.
You have to go a little over, it's only
Revelation 16 and 1.
Yeah, Revelation 16 and 1.
The book of Revelation, chapter 16, verse 1.
Right?
"And I heard a great voice out of that temple saying to the 7 angels,
To the deaf angels, read on.
Go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth."
Pour out the vials of the wrath of Yahweh upon the earth. Now give me Revelation chapter 14. Matter of fact, keep reading on the verse 2, then we're going to get Revelation 14.
"And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sword upon the man which had the mark of the beast."
Which had that spiritual mark, okay, that spiritual mark of wickedness.
It ain't physical.
Okay, we touched on that in prior lessons. Read on.
"And upon them which worship his image."
Right, and upon them that had the image and the spirit of the so-called white man. Now go to Revelation chapter 14 and start at verse 9. So this noisome and grievous sore upon men is going into the thermonuclear fire that the Lord is going to bring upon the wicked. Revelation 14, start at verse 9.
Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand,
Which is spiritual mark in your forehead, meaning taking on the mind frame of the so-called white man, and doing the works of the so-called white man in your right hand. Read on.
the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God,
It's not literal wine. This is talking about destruction and judgment. You're going to drink of that destruction. Read on.
which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation.
Read on.
And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone.
He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone. Read on.
In the presence of the holy
In the
angels
presence of the death angels.
and in the presence of the Lamb.
Right now, give me Genesis chapter 19, verse 24. So that fire and brimstone represents the destruction from the nuclear missiles. Okay, we going.
The book of Genesis chapter 19.
Because America is what? Modern day Sodom and Egypt. Right? They tell you that in Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. So with America being modern day Sodom and Egypt, we got to go into the ancient judgment of Sodom and Gomorrah. Right? Bring it out. So we can understand the modern day judgment of the modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. Bring it out.
The book of Genesis chapter 19 verse 24.
Right?
Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven.
Playing upon tables, fire and brimstone from Yahweh Shah from the nuclear missiles. Okay, but they're going to come down upon man. Give me that now, Matthew 24, 29. There's more on that.
But his wife looked, verse 25, and overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the city that which grew upon the ground.
And it was 5 cities that the Lord overthrew. You can read about that in Wisdom of Solomon 10 and 6. Right? And it says his wife was turned in a pillar of smoke. Right? Because she went back into Sodom.
Lost one.
Right? Now, what I had you hold?
I was reading this, I didn't really get what you
I was going to have you get another precept.
Was it Psalm 10:26?
Nah, yeah, I lost my train of thought.
I believe it say too, the fifth part of the city should be destroyed. In Revelation.
Yeah, that's
I lost my train of thought. All right, but right, the point is that's going into the nuclear missiles. All right.
Hey, you get the time to go to the second vial.
Keep reading.
Revelation.
Okay.
Revelation 16, verse 3.
Right.
The book of Revelation chapter 16 verse 3.
Right?
And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea,
Right?
and it became
Slack.
Yeah, I was going to say the sea represents the nations. Right. Give Revelation 17, 15.
The book of Revelation chapter 17 verse 15. And it reads, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore.
17, 15.
Slakin, 17 and 15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
So the sea represents the nations. That's also in Isaiah 57 and 20. Keep reading. Verse 3.
Revelation 16 and verse 3. And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea,
He poured out destruction upon the nations. Read on.
and it became as the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea.
So in other words, the nations was destroyed off the earth. Right? Y'all got a precept on that?
On the nations, get the book of Psalms, chapter 144, verse 7. Right, bring it up.
The book of Psalms 144 verse 7.
Right.
Send thy hand from above, rid me
Right.
and deliver me out of great waters.
Out of where?
Out of great
waters.
waters.
Great waters out of the sea, right?
From the hand of strange children.
Right, so these strange children, these nations, these Gentiles, wicked perverse nations, and they represent the sea, the great waters.
What precept was that?
Right, that's Psalms 144 and 7.
Right.
And the strange children, like the brother said, are the nations, primarily the Edomites. Because aren't the Edomites strange, man? Right? They be having them gay pride parades. Right? They be walking around with rainbows and crop tops on. And, It was a video with the Edomites. They was acting like dogs, man.
They was
You saying
barking.
that? They was barking at each other.
He was barking at a baby.
They was acting like sheep as well.
Yeah, that's.
So these are very strange children. Okay.
I got a precept up for that.
Bring it up.
It's Ezekiel 11:9.
Read all
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 11, and verse 9.
Bring it out.
And it reads,
To the waters.
And I will bring you out of the midst thereof, and deliver you into the hand of strangers, and will execute judgment upon you.
Yeah, see, that's just a precept to let you know that these strangers are the heathen, right? Chiefly Esau. He's the most strangest man on our earth. All right. They even got the movies to oddities or whatever.
Stranger Things.
They got Stranger Things. Hey man, they got a lot of stuff. I was in the house like last week, hooking up somebody's TV or speaker or whatever it was, and they had something on the new playing on the TV, and it was called something vampire with tattoos. It was wicked. You had nothing but freaks. Had 1,000 piercings all over their face.
Yeah.
He had a tattoo down,
That's
here
all.
down in their toe. One dude, his face was just black.
Esau be making something demon for horns on you.
Yeah,
It's of reptiles, bro.
that they deal with that mutation now, right?
Damn freak.
Give me got a precept. Give me
Off.
Exodus chapter 12, I believe it's 38. Going into the strangers. Going into the strangers. But you had strangers that came out with us in Egypt to be our servants and handmaids. Right? Exodus 12 and 38.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 38. And it reads, And the mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle.
Right? So that mixed multitude was strangers that came out with us in Egypt to be our servants and handmaids. Right? Because we spoiled the Egyptians. And part of spoils of war is taking their people as servants. Give me Leviticus 25 and 44 on that. Right? So those strangers are the nations. And they're also strange children. Right? That doesn't need an elaborate breakdown. We see the strange and weird things that these nations do. Right? They got TV shows, My Strange Addiction, where they eat grass and dirt and glue.
Yeah, they eat water bottles.
All they do is sniff bleach all day. Dry sheets.
Pop cars.
Somebody made a miniature size model of the Berlin Wall, and it was a woman. She had sex with it, man. She freaked off to it. A wall, a miniature size version of wall.
Yeah. And you got Esau, and they got that dark web spirit,
Yeah.
right? And Jake does not access to that kind of information, right? You got a lot of Edomites, they kind of into that, man. The dark web,
I seen
eating people.
a damn, some kind of thing was on the TV about a child porn sting, man, where they was getting catching Edomites up. They got 100-some hours, 500 hours of child porn they got from
We
the
brought
dark
that
web.
out. So like we actually brought that out one lesson, man. Esau got jammed up. He was a school teacher.
Yeah.
He got jammed up with child pornography.
They having a terabyte worth of stuff.
Storage.
Everybody?
Yes.
Damn.
It's like one of the highest amount of stuff you can have in your laptop. Like,
Demons worth of damn child porn. Demons, man. Like you said, that dark web.
Child porn and cannibalism,
That,
torture.
bestiality.
So like you got certain Edomites, they get off on seeing people get tortured, man.
Yeah, no, that's that dark web spirit. They be paying Bitcoin. I actually was watching that on YouTube. They got like dark web stories.
Yeah, I be watching that stuff.
And the damn Edomites, they be paying Bitcoins to watch people get tortured.
Yeah, you gotta go through like you gotta go through layers.
You gotta know somebody that knows somebody that knows another person.
It's like, yeah,
Give you a code.
I ain't going
give you an envelope and some crazy stuff.
I ain't gonna say how you do it, but you shouldn't want nobody to do it anyway.
It's awful, man. Yeah, I don't know what it was.
It's not the internet. Let me just put that out there. It's not the internet.
You
It's
can't just
something
go on
deeper than that.
Google and type in dark web. It ain't no one pop up. You need some stuff. I ain't gonna get into it, but Jake might get enticed.
Yeah, that's
Hold
awful.
on, let me really see if they telling the truth or not. Next thing you know,
Don't go on the dark web, they can probably track you.
yeah, they can.
Yeah,
They
They track you.
Yeah, the FBI, they track that kind of, information.
the FBI be on there, man.
Yeah.
They be the ones. They be the ones doing their thing, man.
Verse 4.
Wicked.
Verse 4.
God.
The book of,
Revelation 16:4. So the point is, the strange children are the Edomites and the nations, right? And they represent the sea.
Follows the precept.
Go to verse 4.
the book of Revelation, chapter 16, verse 4. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of water, and they became blood.
Right? So the rivers, fountains of waters, all a name for the nations, right? You got a precept?
Yes, like I wanted to touch on that. This is going into the fact that we're in Egypt, right? In Isaiah 19:1.
Yeah, because these are the same plagues that happened in ancient Egypt, right? But now these plagues are going into destruction from the nuclear missiles. But John the Revelator is likening these things to the plagues in Egypt, because this is modern day Egypt, according to 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 10 and Isaiah the 19th chapter. Right?
Can I bring that up?
Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 1.
Right.
The burden of Egypt.
The what?
The burden of Egypt.
This is the burden of Egypt, right? Talking about spiritual Egypt, right, Rick?
Behold, the Lord riding upon a swift cloud,
Are you coming on the gigantic fathership, right, Rick?
and shall come into Egypt,
And
and
shall
shall
come
idols,
into Egypt.
and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it.
Right, and let me get this quick precept to show that so, this is a curse to have in Egypt, the sea becoming blood. Right, it's the book of Psalms chapter 78, right? In verse 43, it says how he wrought his signs in Egypt, his wonders in the field of Zoan, and had turned their rivers into blood, and their floods that they could not drink. Right, so he turned their rivers into blood physically. On the spiritual level, these nations will be turned into blood.
Con!
Right?
Precept, Ezekiel chapter 29 verse 3. Hey, because the king of Egypt is Esau, man. Right? Because this is Egypt right now. We are in Egypt. This is why you see pyramids, obelisks, homosexuals, zoophiles, because they got into that in Egypt. This is the same spirit.
That's right.
Ezekiel 29 and 3.
You know, yeah.
The book of Ezekiel chapter 29, verse 3. Speak and say, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, the great dragon.
The what?
The great dragon.
And Esau is a great dragon. When you read Psalms 44 and 19, right? He's that dragon because he speaks with a forked tongue. And he's a serpent. And he has venom when he bites you to kill you on the earth, man. Right? He forces them doctrines upon you. He hits you with that venom, which is that false doctrine and philosophy and ideology, and he poisons man on the earth. And you die a slow, painful death. Right? So Esau is the king of Egypt. Read on.
That lieth in the midst of his rivers, which have said, my rivers is my own, and I have made it for myself.
Right? Read on.
I will put hooks in thy jaws, and I will cause the fish of thy rivers to stick into thy scales, and I will bring thee up out of the midst of thy rivers, and all the fish of thy rivers shall stick into thy scales.
Right. You got a precept, brother?
I got one real quick.
God.
You guys said 1925.
I got another one. Right. So Egypt is America.
The book of Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 25. And it reads, whom the Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, blessed be Egypt, my people.
Right. Now, he's not saying blessed be Egypt, Babylon itself. Right? He's saying blessed be, say it again, Bible chart.
Blessed be Egypt, my people.
But hey, we call ourselves African Americans when we dealing with this society doing X, Y, and Z. So when the Lord said, blessed be Egypt, my people, he's really speaking about the Israelites. But they're just dwelling in the land of Egypt.
God.
Go ahead.
And Assyria, the work of my hands.
Right? Even Assyria, the work of my hands.
And Israel, my inheritance.
And Israel, my inheritance, just further proving that he's speaking to Israel that's dwelling in the land of Egypt.
Precept. Get Isaiah chapter 11, verse 11. Here's the precept. Right?
Isaiah chapter 11, verse 11.
God.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time.
The what?
The second time.
The second time. Because the first time he redeemed us out of physical Egypt.
To recover
This
the
market
remnant.
in the land of Ham, Africa. Right? Northern Africa. Okay, read on.
To recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea.
So these are all the land masses where our people are scattered, right? And we were scattered due to breaking the commandments of the Lord, breaking the covenant. So now we're in these different land masses. For example, Egypt. We're living in Egypt right now on a spiritual level. Now, 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 10 came. Bring it out.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 15, and verse 10. And it reads,
Bring it out, God.
and it reads, Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter.
We like flock led to the slaughter.
I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt.
The land of Egypt is America. Read on. Verse 11. I'll bring it up. Verse 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before and will destroy all the land thereof. Right, so that same, so like those same plagues that the Lord smitten with Egypt, he's going to smite modern day Egypt with. Right, but it correlates with the destruction from the nuclear missiles. All right.
Bring it out.
Go back to
Go back to Revelation 16.
Revelation chapter 16 and verse 6. Or verse 5.
Verse 5.
verse 5.
And I heard the angel of the water say, Thou art righteous, O Lord, which art, and was, and shall be, because thou hast judged us.
Okay. The Most High, and he's going to judge. Thus, he's going to judge the earth, huh? Right, that's wicked as hell. Right, read on.
For they had shed the blood of saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy.
Right?
Yeah, it's going into that righteous judgment because they drunk our blood. Right, and get the book of,
Oh, you got it.
You got a precept?
I got one.
right, get the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse 5. Right? And they shed our blood, so they saying, this is a righteous judgment that you judging the earth, man. The angels kind of cheering it on, man.
That's right.
Right? Bring it up. We got the big, number one fan. Yeah, man. Kind of cheering it on, man.
Yeah. Con.
Rooting for it. Bring it up.
Ezekiel 35 verse 5.
Right?
Because thou hast a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel.
Right, they shed our blood. This is talking about Edom, Idumea. Read.
By the force of the sword,
Right?
in the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end.
Right, you see that? And they shed our blood. So read on.
Therefore, as I live, said the Lord, Yahweh, I will prepare thee into blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
You see that? So, hey, since they didn't hate blood, and the Lord said blood go pursue you, man. So they gonna get a major judgment because they shed the blood of the prophets. I got one more.
Can I say the precept again?
Ezekiel 35 and 5 through 6.
Right, get the book of Daniel chapter 7. Right, start at verse 20.
Bring it on.
The book of Daniel chapter 7 and verse 20.
Right?
And it reads, And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up before whom 3 fell.
Right, this talking about America, because you got the 10 horns, right? France, Spain, Russia, Germany, Belgium, Denmark, Netherlands, so on and so forth. Right, read on. It's like in the 3 fell, right? France, Spain, and Great Britain. Right, read.
Even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things,
Right?
whose look was more stout than his fellows.
Right, this talking about Babylon the Great, America, Egypt. Right, read.
And I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and rebelled against them.
We just read that. The same horn, America made war with the saints, the Israelites, and prevailed against them, man. Right, so since they shed the blood of the prophets and the saints, he said he's going to put blood on them. Right, brothers got it.
Precept. Isaiah chapter 49, verse 26. Yeah, they shed the blood of the prophets and the saints. They drenched and soaked in blood from the prophets and the saints. Right? So it's only comely for them to receive the same judgment of getting put to death. Right?
Isaiah
Being
49.
soaked in blood. Right? The Lord said, look, he had tread in the winepress alone. Right? And there was none with him to do it. Right? Hey, the Lord, when he come back, he gonna stain his white garment. Okay, that's in Isaiah the 63rd chapter. Isaiah 49:26 came.
In the book of Isaiah, chapter 49, verse 26.
Right?
And I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh.
With their what?
With their own flesh.
With their own flesh. Those that are oppressing us, the Lord is feeding them with their own flesh. Right? Hey, even I believe it was 2018, might have been 19, they had the most reported police suicides. Right?
Good.
So Esau was down blowing his head off, man. And why the Lord did that, he put their spirit on them because they racist as hell. And they hate the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. Right? And that guilt, when they retired, that guilt, of them oppressing God's chosen people kind of was weighing heavy on them at night. They probably was having nightmares, apparitions showing up. Probably was seeing dead black men hanging off trees in their room. Right? Esau probably was saying a lot of that gruesome things that they've done to us in slavery. They said, look, I can't do it no more. They get a bottle of whiskey, and they got a damn gun right there. Pistol.
It is what it is.
Right? And they looking at the whiskey, and they looking at the pistol, and they grab both of them.
And they drink both of them.
Right? They drink of that cup.
You're drinking both of them.
It was more than 28, so like 49:26.
And they shall be drunken with their own
And
blood,
they shall be drunken with their own blood. Read on.
as with sweet wine.
As with sweet wine. It's beautiful, man. So it's beautiful when we see Esau kill himself, right? And hang himself.
It was just an Edomite that got executed by like 15, 20 police officers.
I seen that.
I seen that video.
Aren't they doing his thing in DC right now? You talking about that one?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I might be speaking about somebody else, but nonetheless, when I was on my old job and I heard testimonies where Eve told me it was an old racist Edomite, or I think it was an Eve. It's like an old racist Shedamite, and wherever she walked, she kind of seen a little, Jake boy, and it was somebody that she ended up killing, right? Because I think she bear false witness on him, saying he did X, Y, and Z, whether he stole, robbed, or whatever.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, she said she seen him everywhere,
Wow.
and so she was getting plagued and haunted. And I think she ended up hanging herself.
That's
Right? It was
good.
not her. It was another Edomite dude. He ended up hanging himself. That's why a lot of those old retirement homes, they try to be nice to Jake. Here you go. Here's $1. They try to cover up their sins.
Yep. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing that they hang themselves and kill themselves. That's a good thing. But you rejoice in that. Bah, shimmer my shit up on like that.
So it was like a man with a gun at the police officers. And then they just all lined up execution style.
Right before the
And they
war.
just shot him. He started shooting at them.
Mhm.
He's waiting for them to
And
shoot.
this was an Edomite.
This is Edomite.
Yeah, kind. It was another one with Edomite. He poured hand sanitizer all over him, man. And then the Edomites, they kind of tased him, and he damn turned into fire, man. Right? He caught on fire, man.
All praises.
Yeah.
Pull up a picture of the human torch. No,
So hey, so that's the judgment of the Lord, man. Dude caught on fire, man.
Yeah.
fantastic.
Y'all remember
Yeah,
that
the
Edomite?
fire's kind of purple too, man.
Johnny Blaze.
Y'all remember that Edomite
Funny as hell.
that set us up on fire at the Washington D.C. Capitol? And he ran. He had the USA shirt.
Oh
Yeah, I remember that.
You saw
Hey, you gotta look that up.
Yeah, that was spiritual.
Can I find that real quick? That was mighty.
Yeah,
I was happy, man.
that's all right.
Right?
And he died too.
We rejoice when our enemies
I
fall.
remember that. That's crazy.
Hope he had
I
a
forgot
sword.
about that, Ken.
Me too.
They rejoice at our fall.
Yeah, it was an Edomite. He was wearing a USA shirt, and he caught on fire. He was down running around to watch the monument.
He put himself on fire.
Yeah,
He set himself on.
he said.
That's correct.
Remember Wendy Williams had the Statue of Liberty
And she
costume
fell
on,
out.
and she fainted.
Damn.
So these are things that the Lord
Show the
showed.
That's the most out, man.
You focus
Oh,
on
it's
the
trying-
camera.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up this and then the video. Somebody trying to see if it's focused by Prashad.
He was running through the U.S. Capitol building.
That's funny as hell.
And the Lord made him do that, man.
All
Just
praise.
to show the downfall of America. Remember that old Edomite son in front of the camp? That was the
Yeah,
spirit,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
That old crusty
They said,
Edomite.
"Why aren't you helping?"
That
That's funny because that's super symbolic, man.
Super
He on
symbolic.
fire wearing a USA shirt. Because America go burn by fire, man.
Hey,
Cause they drunk our blood, man.
Yup. So
Yeah,
they
it's
said
on
drink
fire.
the blood of their own flesh.
They said
You
it's
got
on
the
fire,
video?
man.
Yeah.
You look into the video, it's a picture, old
It's hard
picture.
to see.
It was a young Jake, probably like 15 years old, and they lied on him. He had a disability, so he couldn't defend himself.
Yeah.
They set the man on fire, man. You know,
Set him on fire.
set him on fire.
He's so mad. He gotta go to slavery.
I think they electrocuted a young Jake for so-called stealing ice cream, man. Right, it's a young Jake, and they down put him in an
Oh, that's talking about.
That youngest case.
Tamir, tomorrow, I can't remember his name. I know what you're talking about.
God.
Bring out 2 Ezra 15 and 10.
All right.
From the second edge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See that? How far you go down?
I only touched on verse 10.
Yeah,
I might have touched on 11.
yeah, Revelation.
Yeah, 15
We was at
and 10.
Isaiah 49 and 26.
Oh, okay.
God.
Nah,
So,
that's good.
all right, the point is, read Isaiah 49:26 again.
Just read 7. 6 and 7. It's gonna die.
Isaiah chapter 49 and verse 26. And it reads,
Yeah, with 4, 16 and 7.
and I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh, and they shall be drunken with their own blood,
15.
as with sweet wine, and all flesh shall know that I am the Lord.
Plain upon tables. They shall be drunk with their own blood as with sweet wine. All right, keep reading.
That I, the Lord, am the Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob.
Now go back to, where we at, verse 7. Revelation 16 and 7.
Revelation chapter 16, verse 7.
Right?
And I heard another out of the altar say, even so, Lord God Almighty, true and righteousness are thy judgments.
Right. Again, the angels ain't cheering it on. The death and destruction of the so-called white man in America.
Like a show they seeing, man.
God
Like your
damn.
favorite show.
Righteous judgment.
Like your favorite show, everybody cheering it on, right? Or like you watching a football game, right? Or a basketball game, everybody kind of cheering on your favorite team, right? So we on the team of the Lord, and the angels on the team of the Lord. And they kind of cheering on the destruction of Babylon the Great. You got to picture all these things happening in the heavens.
And that's super, true judgment, because literally the Edomites, they was rejoicing over killing us.
Yeah.
You see the whole picture, they was smiling,
They was gathering.
they was
around.
gathering.
They had picking niggas, man.
Yeah, they had postcards, right? You had elder Edomites and you had young Edomites. It's kind of smiling, right? Kind of smiling, kind of pointing at the, hey man,
Little kids.
that's evil. That's evil right there, man. That's murder. And we about to show you a visual. And guess what? These Edomites are on the earth today. Right? They're your friendly neighborhood Edomite. Right? They're your redneck. Right? They're your damn police official. They're your greaseball. Right?
All right, somebody focus that real fast. That was a good one. They wasn't smiling in that one, huh? This one with a little girl smiling, though.
Yeah, he's smiling. Look.
That's a better one.
This literally one you see Jake in the background and the little girl smiling, man.
Wicked ass devil. So we hate the so-called white
Let's
man.
go to that one.
Yes, we said it.
Oh.
What's another one too?
He pointing up.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, they pointing up. They getting off on it. And they about to go eat some pork. They probably ate the brother.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, that Texas Chainsaw Spirit.
Here we go.
Here you go right here.
Oh, you got it?
The little girl smiling.
You can get this boy, you getting that.
Right.
Zoom in on it, God.
And now they don't want to make it clear.
They got it all in black and white.
A lot of these
Look.
pictures be in color, too.
Yeah, a lot of them pictures be in color, man. Dawood brought that up.
You're trying to distort time.
You know, they're trying to distort time. This wasn't a long time ago.
Trying to make it pixelated.
What's that?
I'm led to believe, we'll give you the dates of these things. It's no later than the 50s. It's probably the 50s or the 40s.
Little bones?
1930.
Wow.
Oh, bones.
Now this them killing them buffalo. So-called white man killing the food in it.
Look at this down. You got that wicked Edomite?
Did you get that?
Yeah, we got it. You gotta do it again.
Look at all them buffaloes, man.
So
Jesus.
we supposed to just forget about this.
That's a lot.
Did not the Lord say, remember the past?
Right? So that's why it's righteous
Real
judgment.
quick, give me Isaiah 49:6. The Lord said, remember the past. The white man tell you, just forget about it, man. It was so long ago.
Man,
Right?
that was the 40s and 50s. Hey, they back on Earth doing it again.
And they back on the earth doing it again. So right now I'm getting vexed, man. Right now I'm getting vexed.
More wickedness. Hey, you gotta see this stuff, man.
This should make you mad. If you're looking at this laughing right now, the Lord might destroy you.
So now,
If you're looking at this and it's comical, and you got your popcorn out, cheering it on, then the Lord gonna take you out. Because this should make you mad, man. Right? Seeing your brothers get put to death. Seeing your woman getting hung from trees. Your young men. Emmett Till was 14 years old, man. Most High gonna kill you Edomites, man.
That's right.
Gun.
they wicked as hell.
Isaiah 49:6. Wicked as hell, man. I'm getting mad. Isaiah 49:6.
Isaiah chapter 49 and verse 6.
Off, man.
And I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh.
49:6, bro.
Oh, it's like 49:6.
That was a good precept, though. I will feed them that oppress you with their own flesh.
And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the reserve of Israel. And I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles.
Now give me Deuteronomy 32:7. There was another one I wanted where the Lord said, remember the days of old. Alright? But let's get the classic, Deuteronomy 32. Hey man, so look, man.
That's 46.
Esau, man, you reap what you sow on the earth, man. Galatians 6:7. Deuteronomy 32.
Deuteronomy 32 and verse 7.
Right.
Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will shew thee. Thy elders, and they will tell thee.
Okay, there you go. Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. So you gotta remember what the white man did to your people. Right? You gotta actually read about these accounts, read about these lynchings, read about these hangings. Right? And that should build up some righteous indignation in you.
That's right.
I just want to add one quick point, and that's how you know the Lord didn't forgive, because he added into the book of Revelation, a prophecy, that the Lord going to judge Babylon the great whore, right? Who has killed the prophets and the saints, man. The Lord didn't forget about it, man.
They still doing it though. So what is it to forget? When Jake say forget about it, they still doing it. What is there to forget, man? They're still doing it. Yeah.
And the scriptures say they have no changes. Give me Isaiah chapter 27, verse 11. So Esau doesn't change. He still does it. Right?
Jake, it was long ago. Then they just, how many so-called black men that they killed unarmed?
Like Malcolm X said, they traded in their white sheets for badges. Well, some traded in their white sheets. Right? But I still got the damn KKK out here, man. You know? They still having meetings. They still burning crosses. If you go on YouTube and type in KKK rally, it's going to pop up. But yet they take out religion.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but they taking our
Damn devils, man. Break it out.
Isaiah chapter 27, verse 11.
Easy.
You said 27, 11, right?
27 and 11. Come on.
When the boughs thereof are withered, they shall be broken off. The woman come and let them on fire, and set them on fire. For it is a people of no understanding.
Esau has no understanding. Read on.
Therefore he that made them will not have mercy on them.
So the Lord is not going to have mercy on them. Read on.
And he that formed them will shew them no favor.
He will show them no favor. Right? And give me, I believe it's Isaiah the 2nd chapter, where it say, therefore forgive them not. The Lord said, forgive them not. Go to try Isaiah the 2nd chapter and verse 9. Isaiah 2 and 9.
Isaiah chapter 2, verse 9. And the mean man bowed down, and the great man humbled himself. Therefore forgive them not.
What the Bible say?
Therefore forgive them
So
not.
the Lord is not going to forgive them. Forgive them not for what they done to your people.
Right, that's why the angels cheering it on. And Jake need to be cheering. They be getting mad at us when we had Esau kiss the bull.
Right. You got Jake in the truth. Jake in the truth get mad at us when the Most High allow these Edomites to kiss our boo. Because it's none of us. Right? We're not putting a gun to an Edomite head saying get down and kiss our boo. No, we just pull the scripture, right, and that guilt come upon them and they bow down before the men of the Lord.
That's right.
Right? They start calling it out, man.
These Edomites, man, they know what they did was wrong. They know their sins, they know their transgressions. So if they kiss our boots, man, hey, so what? It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Kiss it again.
Right.
Who cares if Esau kissed them?
Talking
They're gonna be doing a lot
about-
worse
talking
than
about-
King.
Talking about that's not the spirit of Yah. Right, look, man. That's what they say, man.
That's not the
That is the spirit of the Lord.
That's
man.
right.
Isaiah 49:23, man.
Bring it up.
Go tell that to Joshua. See what he'll do to you, man.
Right, I got
He told me to
last
go.
precept to go into that too. In Isaiah 49:14.
So like he said, put your foot on your neck. Put your foot on your
And start
neck.
at 13, man. Right. And that's how God speaks, man. Right? And the angel said, your judgments are true, man. They love it. Another one said, yeah. Yep, they are true judgments, man. Bring it up.
Isaiah 49:13.
Right, man.
Sing, O heavens, and be joyful, O earth,
Right?
and break forth into singing, O mountains.
Right. Why is he saying break forth into singing, O mountains, O earth? Let's see, keep reading.
For the Lord hath comforted his people, and will have mercy upon his afflicted.
Right, because he's gonna have mercy on the afflicted, man. Right, read.
But Zion said, the Lord hath forsaken me, and my Lord hath forgotten me.
And that's what our people say. Right? A lot of people, they atheists, man. They're like, dang, all this bad happening to us. Hey, man, it can't be a God.
That's that boys in the hood spirit.
Right?
Why babies always getting killed? Babies and all. Right?
Right,
Ice Cube was scoffing against the Lord, man.
read.
Can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on the son, on her womb?
Right?
Yeah, they may forget.
Right, hey, the Lord said, hey, some women may forget about their own children. Read.
Yet will I not forget thee.
But the Lord ain't gonna forget, man. So all that rape, robbery, and murder Esau, you gotta pay for that, man.
Isaiah 49.
Right.
We not gonna forget.
15.
Right? We not gonna forget, man.
Damn sure the Lord, because the Lord doesn't forget anything, man. Right? The Lord is not subject to forgetfulness. Right? Yeah, that man is subject to that, man. Right? But the Lord is over that. So the Lord is not gonna forget the wickedness of the so-called white man and his adventures.
Yeah. And with that,
So with that,
Done.
Kwame Yasha.
Somebody trying to close that live by Bashar?
Damn.